All right, so again, as you all are coming in, if you could please make sure that you are signing in. You can see the QR code right in front of you. The link is also in the chat. So as you're coming in, please make sure that you are signing in. And then in the chat, you will also see a link to join the AP Canvas course, which is where you're going to find all the important information related to the AP program at High Point. And eventually the AP application will be posted there either this evening or tomorrow at the latest. And there's the sign in, just to give you an idea of what it'll look like. All right, so my name is Mr. York. So I wanted to clarify this year, some of you know me. I put my initial there as well because we have two Mr. Yorks at High Point now. So occasionally I will get an email meant for him and he will get an email meant for me. So just make sure that if you are contacting me that you are sending your email to the right place. So I actually go by my middle name. So my middle initial here is C, but my email address is benjamin.york@pgcps.org. I am very responsive to email, so if you have questions, that's the best way to get in touch with me. You can also stop by room 206. My office is in the back. If I'm not in there, again, just shoot me an email. All right, so as we are moving through the presentation today, if you have questions, please go ahead and post them in the chat. Mr. Schlegel and I are going to try and answer those questions that you have. I will also stick around at the end of the presentation in case you have any questions that were not answered, but you can also use the parking lot link. So if you are posting a question in the chat and we just get busy or the chat becomes sort of crowded and you don't get your question answered, you can also post your link to the Jamboard there as well. And I think that link hopefully is going to show up in the chat here in just a second. And there it is. All right, so for those of you who are already taking AP classes, you're going to know most of this information, but we are going to have some new information tonight as well. So it's not just going to be a repeat of everything you've heard before. But for those of you who have never taken an AP class, I want to give you a brief overview of what the AP program is. So AP stands for Advanced Placement. And advanced placement classes are college level courses that you can take while you are still in high school. So the way it works is you will earn your high school credit for that class, but you also have the opportunity at the end of the year in May, when the AP exams are given, to take the exam for any of the AP classes that you're taking. And if you score high enough on that exam, you will earn the college credit as well. So I also want to say that even if you do not pass that particular AP exam and earn that college credit, studies have shown that students who take AP classes and take the exams, even if they don't pass the exam, tend to do better in college. So it's a good experience whether you pass the test or not, but many of our students do pass. We actually have some students who go into college either as second semester freshmen or even as sophomores because they've earned enough credits taking those AP classes. So it is important to keep in mind these are college level courses, so it is going to be more work than an honors or a regular class. However, if you are a good student, you're looking for a challenge, I think you will enjoy the rigor of an AP class. And also, we have wonderful teachers who are leading these classes as well. So it's a good opportunity to work with some of the best teachers at High Point. We will talk a little bit more about the last bullet point there, the prerequisites, in just a minute. But basically what that means is that in order to take AP classes, you have to have passed with an A or a B other classes first. And I'll show you exactly what those prerequisites are in just a moment. So as I said, each AP course is tied to an exam that you take at the end of the year in May. Several courses, the art classes, you'll submit portfolios instead of taking an exam. And AP Computer Science Principles also has a component that includes a portfolio in addition to the exam. If you are a student who receives free or reduced meals, then your exam fee will be covered. If you take one exam, if you take 2, 3, or even 4 exams, if you are free or reduced meals, those are covered. And then the last thing is that the exams are not required, although we really encourage students to go ahead and take those exams because, again, as we said, even if you don't pass, you get the experience of studying for, preparing, and taking a really difficult test. And that's going to prepare you for your college experience. So again, just to remind you, if you are just coming in, please make sure you're taking a look at the chat and that you are signing in. And that if you are a student, that you are also joining the AP Canvas course where you're going to get that additional information. All right, so some information about the program at High Point. We are currently offering 18 AP classes, which is very close, if not the most in the county. It's very close to the top. Next year, we're actually going to offer 19. So this year, just to give you an idea of how many students are taking AP classes, it's about 10% of the students at High Point. So we have over 350 students this year taking AP classes. Most of those students will be taking the exams in May. That's a decision that students make in the fall. And so in May, we're going to be administering over 450 exams. So it's quite a process for myself and the other AP teachers, but that shows you just how strong of an AP program we have at High Point. All right, so I know many of you are wondering how you apply for these classes. So what's going to happen is, as I mentioned earlier, either at the end of this presentation this evening or early tomorrow in the Canvas course where the link is in the chat, there will be an application for the AP program. And I'm going to show you what that application looks like. It is a Google form. You as a student and your parent or guardian will need to sign off electronically on the application to show that you understand the requirements of an AP course. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Okay, so previously I mentioned those prerequisite classes. So what that means, again, is in order to take an AP class, in order to be enrolled in an AP class, you have to have taken and passed other classes first, and you have to have passed those classes with an A or a B. So that could mean that you took the class last year or the year before. It could mean that you're currently taking and passing the class. But every AP class that we offer at High Point has at least one prerequisite class. So here is a list of all of these prerequisites. Now, you don't need to take a screenshot or a picture of this. This is going to be in the AP Canvas course as well. Everything we talk about tonight will be in the AP Canvas course. But just to give you an idea, if we're looking right now at AP Biology, for example, over here in the top left, in order to take AP Biology, you need to have passed regular biology, chemistry, and Algebra 1 first. If you have not taken and passed those classes with an A or a B, that means you're not ready. You don't have the skills yet to be prepared for AP Biology. So you can take a look at the list. I'm not going to read through all of these because it's a long list. But just make sure when you are applying for these AP classes that you check the prerequisites first so that you're not wasting your time filling out an application for a course that you're not eligible for. So it's really important that you are taking a look at the prerequisites and you're making sure that you have passed the necessary courses before you apply for the AP course. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. I know I'm moving relatively quickly, but I want to make sure we have time for all of our teachers to talk about the classes, and that's where we're going to begin now. So I am going to turn things over to Mr. Wan, and he is going to talk about the 2 arts classes that we have here at High Point.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Wan. So I'm going to go over AP 2D art and design and AP drawing. So I teach AP 2D art and design. So recommended grade levels for this class is going to be 11th and 12th. Depending on the quality of work and how well you've done art one, it is possible to get into the AP class in 10th grade as well, but usually it's mostly 11th and 12th graders. What is AP 2D art and design? So this art course focuses on students developing a 2D art portfolio. We have a focus on almost various principal designs, composition. In terms of the artworks that we create, you can pretty much do anything you want with this class system. Your drawings, paintings. It's kind of more centered around like digital art. Just because we have like these really nice iPads that we use to draw with. you dive into like learning Procreate and learning more about like digital art. But if you're more comfortable with like traditional like drawing and painting, that's possible. Also, there's photography if you want to do like graphic design. So it's pretty much like anything that deals with like 2D art. You can incorporate with this. Now, some of the benefits of the AP 2D art and design is, unlike your other art classes, you're gonna have a lot more artistic freedom with the work that you want to create. Basically your portfolio is going to focus on like specific things that we talk about. It's going to be mostly centered around like sustained investigations where you'll kind of dive into a topic, and then you'll kind of use your art to find your way to the answer to like that specific topic. um some of the benefits of this class is, obviously you'll earn college credit. You have like a score of 4 or 5, less money for your classes. And, one really thing I like about this is, just as Mr. mentioned before, you don't really take a test at the end of the year. It's basically the portfolio that you create like throughout the year. So, we create 15 works of art through the year. Um, and it's like not really at the stage for a test. It's like you just turn in your portfolio. So like the work that you do the whole year, it's like it's just preparing you for like the test. Okay, and then with AP drawing, Miss Villalobos teaches this class. We have the same requirements, 10th, 11th, 12th. With 10th though, definitely want to just look at your body of work. But with AP drawing, though, unlike the other class, this focuses more on like specifically drawing and painting. Traditional drawing and painting, unless if you had like one of my classes before, you can use like the iPad to do drawing and painting. But Miss Villalobos is like really really good with like the traditional arts. She's not too like familiar with like the iPad stuff, but I can always help you out with that though. And I know like some of my students are going from AP 2D design and then going into drawing painting. Um, it's pretty much like the same things though as the other classes, but it's just centered more about like drawing and painting. So a lot of students are really really comfortable drawing and painting. So definitely this is like a really nice transition going from your regular art classes to this one. Just because it'll be something like you'll be a little bit more familiar with, and then you'll a little more advanced skills in those specific things.
Thank you, Mr. Wan. And I just also want to reiterate, well, not even reiterate, but just mention that our art students in our AP program, almost everybody scores a 4 or 5. So this is one of the courses that if you're there and you're putting forward a good effort, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to earn that college credit. So it's not a guarantee, but our rate of passing the portfolio tends to be 90% or higher. So this is something that if you're interested in art, we have 2 really great teachers. All right, next we are going to move on to English, and first we have Ms. Bohm.
Hello, I'm Miss Boehm. I teach AP English Language and Composition. It is geared towards 11th grade students. We do a lot of writing and a lot of reading. But what makes this class so much fun, if you can call class fun, is that, we talk about socially relevant issues. We talk about issues of identity. For second quarter, we read texts that represent the diversity of every student. We talk about things like who could say the N-word, who's allowed to say that, and we address ways that we want to change the world, basically. It is a tough class. There's a lot of reading and there's a lot of writing, but it's worth it in the end. Most of my students come back and say, yeah, there were times that I struggled, but it was really worth it. And then the kids that I see who come back after college, like they're in college, they come back to visit, they all say that the AP classes at High Point were the best preparation they could have taken for real college level courses. And I know that they've told me that my class and Mr. Schlegel's class especially really prepared them for college because of all of the ways that they grew as writers and as thinkers and as speakers. So that's, I mean, there's lots more that I can tell you, but I'll leave it at that. Keep it short and sweet. Mr. Schlegel and I will be visiting each other's classes. So if you have Mr. Schlegel for English 10 honors, or expect to see me, I think next week on Friday is what we discussed, but we'll figure it out if, yeah, he's giving me a thumbs up. All right, I'm done. I know you're so weird, Mr. Schlegel. I will mute now and let Mr. Schlegel take over.
Thanks, Ms. Bohm. And just a quick note, the AP English Language course would take the place of your regular English 11 or English 11 honors class. All right, next up we have Mr. Schlegel.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Schlegel, and I teach AP English Literature and Composition. Whereas Ms. Bohm's AP Language class that she just talked about is the AP English class that is targeted towards juniors. Mine is the course that is targeted towards seniors instead. So English Literature would take the place of English 12 on your schedule for next year. And it's a course that is different from Ms. Bohm's AP class in the sense that, as the course title would suggest, English literature is more focused on literature. We find ourselves reading a lot more fiction throughout the school year. I'm talking about things like novels, poetry, short stories will be the main focus for us in this 12th grade course. We will cover a lot of different texts that cover a wide range of time periods from the classical period all the way up to the postmodern. We cover texts that come from a variety of different genres and cover a variety of different subject matters from different perspectives. It's a class where we will get to read books like Frankenstein. You're probably familiar with that. We get to read The Great Gatsby, which you may have heard of. We get to read Beowulf, which you've probably never heard of in your life. But it's a good mix of sort of different content there. It's a course that I think is, of course, challenging, but it's a course that is rewarding for seniors who are willing to push themselves and challenge themselves with real college level English content. And a difference between my course and Ms. Bohm's AP Lang as well is that for 11th grade, AP Lang seminar is required, whereas for my course, AP Lit in 12th grade, there is no seminar course offered.
Thank you, Mr. Schlegel. And just to sort of clarify, seminar for English language means that you have the class every day. And the point of having the seminar is because we want to make sure that you have enough time to appropriately prepare for the exam. All right, moving forward, we next have world languages. Mr. Dongmo is not here, but if you are interested in taking AP French, that is something that we offer. It is mostly for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, although I know that we do have a few 9th graders who take AP French. I believe that I made a mistake and said French 4 is a prerequisite, so I'm going to update that. He put on here French 3. But if you are a native speaker of French, you do not necessarily have to have already taken French 3. So if you're interested in taking AP French, please see Mr. Dongmo. Our world language courses are another one where we have very, very high passing rates. I mean, we have good scores across the board, but I'm talking about like 90% plus of students. And for our students at High Point, if you already speak the language, it really makes sense to go ahead and take that course. So that's AP French. We also offer AP Spanish, and I do believe Ms. Marcano is here to speak about that. Ms. Marcano, are you here? There you are.
Yes, thank you. En español. Buenas noches, yo soy la señora Marcano, soy la Department Chair del Departamento de World Language y a su vez soy la maestra de español AP, Lenguaje y Cultura. Es una clase que se conduce completamente en español y se recomiendan a los estudiantes de los grados 10, 11 y 12 para esta clase. Es una clase que los prepara para tomar el examen de College Board y se prueban las distintas formas de comunicación de lenguaje en español. Los beneficios de estar en la clase de AP Lenguaje, pues te aumenta tu GPA, ¿verdad? Te ayuda a aumentar el GPA. Tienes beneficios en el college con los créditos que obtenga dependiendo de la cantidad de puntos que haya, con los que haya pasado el examen. El examen tiene un valor de 5 puntos y se pasa con 3. Adicional a eso, tenemos el Seal of Biliteracy, que es un premio que se le da a los seniors en la graduación y los certifica como estudiantes bilingües para poder obtener ese Seal of Biliteracy. Hay 2 rutas. Una es sacando 4 o 5 en el examen de literatura y cultura, de lenguaje y cultura, o tomando el examen de STAMP si eres senior en el momento que estás tomando la clase y los resultados van a llegar después de la graduación, pues se te da el examen de STAMP. O sea que estar en la clase de AP lenguaje y cultura o de AP literatura te ofrece un sinnúmero de beneficios en tu presente como estudiante y en tu futuro como estudiante universitario o como profesional. Next.
And are you going to speak about Spanish literature as well?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Ok, además de la clase de AP Lenguaje y Cultura, se ofrece la clase de AP Literatura y Cultura que la ofrece la señora Shelley Colón Cruz. De la misma forma, son seleccionados los estudiantes de los niveles 10, 11 y 12 por recomendación de la maestra. Generalmente los estudiantes que toman la clase de literatura son estudiantes de seniors, son seniors porque se sacan principalmente de los grupos de lenguaje y cultura que están entre los grados 11 y 12. Es una clase que te lleva en un viaje cultural e histórico por todo lo que es la literatura española, desde el tiempo de España hasta la actualidad del siglo XXI, la literatura hispanoamericana. Se recomienda a los estudiantes del nivel 3 en adelante para estas clases. Hay una selección de 38 obras que incluyen novela, poesía, teatro, ensayos. Se hace una relación entre el arte y la literatura. Conoces además de escritores hispanos, también conoces artistas hispanos y se relaciona con el momento histórico. Y tomas un examen también al final en el mes de mayo, en el cual tienes que hacer una comparación de una obra literaria con la historia, el autor o una obra literaria hispanoamericana con la literatura. Así que están todos bienvenidos a que participen de la clase de AP en español, AP lenguaje y AP literatura. Gracias y buenas noches. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Señor Marcano. Okay, so those are our world language courses. Next, we're going to have Mrs. Stewart. And actually, she is the teacher for all 3 of our math courses.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Stewart. So the first one that's listed here is AP Pre-Calculus, which just began this year all over the nation, not just at High Point. It's a brand new subject. And they don't bring on new subjects very often. And I don't think there's been a new math one in I don't know what. But this year it's AP Pre-Calculus. And unfortunately, I think last year it kind of came at us just quickly, and a lot of people weren't sure, and everybody gets a little afraid because they see the AP word. Please stop doing that. It's a doable course. And I wrote down a few things that I believe is
Miss Stewart, you muted yourself. Miss Stewart, you're muted somehow.
wow, all that time.
No, just for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like we heard everything about how AP pre-calc came out of nowhere and all that stuff. So we heard all that. I would have told
Thank
you
you, Ms.
before.
Bohm. Because I'm sure if any of my students are on, they were more than happy for me to be muted for a little bit. So again, those of you who could take it, if you're going to be an 11th grader next year and you're in Algebra 2 and you have a B, B minus, C plus, or B, you can take AP Pre-Calculus. If you have an A in Algebra 2, then you might be able to just go right to AP Calc. And I truly believe that if you're a 12th grader and thinking of a STEM career, engineering, computers, you could see it's science, and you only have that one more year to have math, I think you should go for AP Calculus, because it is a very good thing to have had that class before you have to take it in college. And you can ask if you have any friends who are that kind of thing, like in those kind of majors. I'm sure if they had it already in high school, it was better than if they just had to go into it cold and brand new with all the other things that happen that are brand new in college. Now, if you're not that kind of major, then it's more of a choice, AP Calculus or AP Pre-Calculus as a senior. I mean, I like the course. I think it is a useful course. I know that it should be able to get you credit for your beginning math class in college if you get like a 4 or 5. But no matter what, it's going to help you for your mathematics in college, because everybody has to have math in college. Unless you have an AP score in a math class, they get you out of it. And that's 3 semesters of math in college. One being statistics, but 2 others being an algebra 2, trig, and a little bit higher class. So again, STEM careers need more. My next course, calculus, I love it. I've been teaching it for about 15 years now, something like that. Anyways, if you have an A in algebra 2, AP Calc is an option, other than just AP Pre-Calc, and that might be something to think about if, again, you're a junior in algebra 2 and you're thinking of that STEM career, then maybe you should just take the AP Calc. If you're an AP Pre-Calc now, then positively AP Calc's the way to go, unless no one is getting lower than a C in that class right now. So I hope all the juniors in there go on to AP Calc. Even some trig prob stat people or foundations, you can go either to AP Pre-Calc or Calc and back to the whole STEM career thing. Please think about that when you make your decision between AP Pre-Calc or AP Calc if you're a senior. I know there's also Calc BC, but that's only for someone who's already had Calc AB. Right now, I've taught as many as 24 in that course. This year I have 6. And we'll see how that continues. It really is getting a little hurt with AP Pre-Calc, but maybe that's an okay thing. I don't have the answer for that. I just know that, again, the one before it, AB Calc, is the one that people should try to have if they're thinking of those careers dealing with the science, math, computers, those kind of things. I'm in 201A. You can find me easily if you have any questions. I'm always there. I think that's about it, Mr. York, unless you can think of anything else I forgot to say.
No, that's great. I think the only thing is that if you're not really sure if you're ready for AP Calculus, just swing by and see Mrs. Stewart or send her an email. And I think that's, if you're kind of on the fence, just go ahead and talk to her, and she'll give you a good idea of whether, if you're taking algebra 2, if it might be better to take pre-calculus or calculus AB next year. Excellent. Thank you, Mrs. Stewart. All right, we're going to move on to science. So I don't think Mrs. Cressito is here. Don't see her. If you are, go ahead and just interrupt me. But AP Biology is one of our science courses. So obviously, if you took regular biology and found it to be interesting and engaging, this would be a good course for you. Again, make sure you're double checking the prerequisites to make sure that you have passed the necessary classes. But biology tends to be one of our more popular science AP courses. We also offer AP Chemistry. So for those of you who are taking chemistry and finding it interesting and exciting with Mr. Flores, or chemistry honors, obviously, this would be a good course for you. And then finally, in addition to biology and chemistry, we also are now offering environmental science. So this is a new course. We have not offered this before. This is going to be for 12th graders only. And Miss Niner, are you here? Thought I saw her join earlier, but maybe she dropped off. If you are, go ahead and just interrupt me. But environmental science, again, is a brand new course. So we're excited to offer this next year. in order to take environmental science, you need to make sure you have passed Algebra 1 and then 2 science courses. So that could have been biogeochem, biology, or chemistry. So you need to have passed 2 of those classes in addition to Algebra 1. If you have questions about the course, you can speak with Ms. Niner or send her an email. But again, this is a brand new course for next year, so we're excited to offer that. All right, next are the social studies. And this is another new course for next year. I don't think Mr. Battles is here. I know he had another meeting this evening. But African American Studies is actually a brand new course. So only a few schools were offering it this year and the year before. Next year is the first year that African American Studies is available to all schools. So this is going to be another new option. We're really excited to offer this. So if you have taken African American Studies, the non-AP version, and you enjoyed that, then this would be the next step. This is also going to be a course that is for seniors only. So if you are a rising senior and you are looking for something to interest you and potentially fill out your schedule, highly recommend that you consider African American Studies. All right, next we have Comparative Government and Politics. This is another new course for next year. This is also going to be for seniors, and Ms. Klingon is going to tell you a little bit more about it.
Hello, this is Ms. Klingon. I teach AP Government as well as hopefully AP Comparative Government and Politics next year. This would be a new AP course for High Point for 12th grade students, so it'd be a senior elective. This course explores and compares governments from around the world. So specifically, we look at China, Nigeria, Iran, United Kingdom, Mexico, and Russia. If you took AP Government, the vocabulary and concepts and the test format will all be pretty familiar to you. Sorry. Will be pretty familiar to you. Just obviously not about the United States. We'll be looking at other countries around the world. If you've taken AP Government or AP World, this would be a really nice, probably next step for you. And also kind of a nice way to combine stuff that you've learned from both of those courses. But I think also if you didn't take AP Government or AP World and you just took the on-level courses, this could be a really approachable course since you'd already have a background in a civics course before going in. So please sign up. It should be fun. We're going to try out a new AP course for next year. And now AP Government. So this course is for 10th grade students. So 10th grade is when students take LSN Government. That's a Maryland state requirement. So this would satisfy both that state requirement and also provide you the opportunity to get some college credit. We cover the function and structure of the government, which usually has us taking a lot or making a lot of connections to current events. Next year should be really interesting because we have the presidential election that we can follow. And we also tend to do a lot of interactive projects, activities, a lot of moot courts and debates and simulations and those types of things. So AP Government, also since it's offered to mostly 10th grade students, it's usually a very approachable course. We also have a seminar course. So that means we would meet every day. That usually means that you don't have quite as much homework as you might have in other AP courses because we have more time during class to cover the material. So there's less work for you to do outside of the class. And also in that seminar, we focus on skills that will help you in the AP exam. So we do reading, writing, test taking strategies so that you're really prepared to take the test in May. So if you are currently in 9th grade and you're thinking about AP, consider signing up for AP Government.
Thank you, Ms. Klingon. And yeah, so I teach 9th grade. I know that some of my students asked me, and I've had a question in the chat about, well, most of these classes look like they're for juniors and seniors. AP Government is definitely a class for rising 10th graders and tends to be very popular. So if you are doing well in history this year and you're looking for that challenge next year, AP Government is a great place to take your first AP class. And as Ms. Klingon mentioned, it's a seminar included as well. So you have the class every day. It gives you that extra time because this is usually the first AP class for many of our students. That's part of why we have that seminar built in. All right, we also have World History. This is going to be an 11th grade course. Mr. Van Blerkamp teaches this. He also could not be here tonight. But this would take the place of your regular world history or honors world history class. So this is another one of our very popular courses. Many of our 11th grade students will take AP World History and AP Language and potentially 1 or 2 other AP classes. So I'm not going to read everything that's on the screen here for you, but it covers a wide range of world history. If you are currently in AP Government, kind of the logical next step is to take AP World History. If you haven't yet taken an AP class and you're considering it and you're going into 11th grade, this would be a good option for you as well. All right, moving forward, we are going to take a look at some of our technology courses. And we're going to start with computer science principles. I think I saw Miss Sonia here earlier. Are you here? Okay, maybe not. This is another course that is available to our 10th grade students. So you just need to make sure you're taking foundations of computer science as a 9th grader, and that will make you, that will knock out the prerequisite for computer science principles. As I mentioned earlier, computer science principles has 2 components for earning the college credit. So in my opinion, it kind of makes it a little bit easier because the test is shorter. And then you're going to be working on a portfolio, lost the word there for a moment, throughout the year that you're going to submit at the end. So you have those 2 components, the portfolio and the exam. And if you do well on both, then you will be earning some college credit. And this focuses on Java. So for those of you who are familiar with computer science, the computer science principles course focuses on Java, whereas computer science A moves beyond Java. So this is the next step. So if you have taken computer science principles, the next AP course would be computer science A. And this is for 11th and 12th grade students. So Ms. Asamota is the teacher for that. If you all have specific questions about either course, you can speak with the computer science teachers. And that is it. So before you all leave and sign off, if you could please complete the evaluation. It is very short. Mr. Schlegel is posting the evaluation in the chat for you right now. And just to let you know as well, I forgot to mention, let me go back here 1 second. These 2 computer science courses are part of the computer science CTE program. So if you are interested in the CTE program and you would like to move through from 10th through 12th grades, you would take computer science principles, computer science A, and then you have a couple of computer science courses that are offered to seniors as well. So if you're interested in coding, if you're interested in moving into that profession, into that career, and then potentially majoring in computer science or a similar field in college, that CTE program would be something that you definitely want to consider taking in 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. So I'll go back to the evaluation link here for you as well. It is 7:13. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, and then I will stick around in case anybody has questions that you would like to ask.
And Mr. York, I can mention while you were talking earlier,